Man, talk about a strange timeline. So the original Robot Rescue releases way back in 2005, and then it's ported to DSiWare 4 years later in 2009. Now, you'd think it would take a lot less time to see the sequel come to the DSi, and yet here we are. It's 2012, 3 years after the first DSi game, and the second just released this week. The only logical explanation is these robots must have some kind of built-in flux capacitor. I mean, it's either that or these things simply take time, you know? Either or. It's Robot Rescue 2 for the Nintendo DSi. So like the first one, Robot Rescue 2 is a really complex puzzle game. You control a bunch of rotund robots, and it's your job to rescue them. You have to get all the robots to safety by getting them to the exits, but the catch is, all their movement is always in unison, so what one robot does, so do the others. Now, of course, there are quite a few games out there with the same idea, but this one's different, if only because it makes you want to kill people. Which is to say, it's a really freaking tough, difficult, challenging, complex, infuriating puzzle. Oh, fuck me. See, Robot Rescue 2 is interesting in that there's really no elegance or fun gimmick to its design. It just looks like someone had access to a level editor and decided to ruin your entire fucking week. I mean, there are just obstacles everywhere. It's ridiculous. So how does it actually work? Well, you use the D-pad and move your robots. And in most cases, you have to do something to get them through the exit. You might have to paint them a certain color. You might have to use one to turn off the lasers, which then allows another robot safe passage. Now, there's a very mechanical flavor to its 60 levels, which is fitting given the overall theme and premise. So there's some pretty awesome, if pretty difficult, puzzle-solving gameplay, but the problem with Robot Rescue 2 is more presentational. The game just doesn't have a very appealing look. It's a lot of colors that don't mix, a lot of visually incompatible design elements. It does kind of look like a mess at times. I also had a hard time with the gap between the screens. I love when DS games turn the system on its side like a book, but the screen gap can really throw you off in more challenging levels. The game's also needlessly rigid in terms of what it allows you to play and when. It'd be nice if I could jump around the modes, which would keep the gameplay more fresh and less frustrating. Nonetheless, if you're looking for a nice, frustrating challenge, this is a good option. It's lacking a little bit in terms of presentation and polish, but it's only $2, and when it comes to the core gameplay, Robot Rescue 2 is right on par, if, a little late.